Proper form for a hip hinge, RDL, and a good morning. Guys, this is human movement 101. If you can't do this, you're probably a terrible person. At least you're more prone to injury than everyone else. So this is the hip hinge. It is your basic sticking your butt back, acting like shutting a car door, feet are flat on the ground, back is nice and straight, and my butt cheeks are doing all this movement for me. Now, a Romanian deadlift is the same exact thing, except I'm holding a weight in my hands on the Romanian deadlift. But at the end of the day, it's still a hip hinge. All I'm doing is just loading this movement pattern, but my butt cheeks are doing all the work for me, my upper body is very rigid, and my feet are flat on the ground. Now, good mornings are the exact same thing as a hip hinge and a Romanian deadlift, except now we have that bar loaded on our upper back, which is going to put more strain on your lower back, especially if you're not doing these correctly. If you do all three of these right, you're just going to help strengthen your entire body so that you are more resilient and less likely to get injured in your every day-to-day activities. Now, let's take a look at some things that will get you hurt. First one on the agenda, poor coordination. Look, some of you guys move like a baby giraffe, but that's okay because we're going to help you fix it. I want you to look at what is moving first when I'm standing back up. It's my knees. Guys, this means that the quads, the muscles on the front side of my legs, are dominating this movement. And what I really want to work are my hamstrings and my glutes. My upper body should be nice and stable so that everything stays safe and out of my lower back. But your hamstrings and your glutes should be dominating this movement. So if you're not moving with good coordination, an exercise that is supposed to help you get stronger and more resilient to injury is just going to wind up getting you hurt. So this is mistake number one, poor coordination. So we're going to call this next one the low back fault. Now, typically what happens, my glutes and my hamstrings may be working, my upper back may even be working, but my abs, my midline, my core just can't keep it together as I'm doing the lift. And you can see my upper back is moving a lot before my hips even begin to stand that weight back up to the top. Guys, this is going to wind up in your lower back if you let it happen. So this is mistake number two, a low back fault. This third one technically isn't a mistake because there is a time and a place for a straight leg hip hinge or a straight leg RDL. But if you are keeping your knees locked out, this is going to put that weight further away from your midline, which we're going to talk about here in just a little bit, but you notice how far away that bar is from my body. Now, again, there is a time and a place for a straight leg lift here, but if you are just learning and you do not have the strength to stabilize your hips as you're moving this weight, it's going to wind up in your lower back. So if you're just learning the RDL, try to stay away from the knee lockout for now, at least until you can build up more strength. The last one we're going to talk about is an upper back fault, aka the Quasimodo fault. So you can see as I'm leaning over, my shoulders completely come undone and I got that hunchback going on. Now, the problem here is that my glutes, my hamstrings, and my core may very well be working, but if my upper body, my shoulder blades, can't keep it together, I'm going to wind up in this hunchback position. Now, this could wind up in two places. It could wind up in your lower back, or it could also wind up in your neck and your shoulders. So we want to try to prevent this upper back fault from happening. Now, the next section of this video, we're going to talk about how to prevent all of these faults from happening. Let's talk about the number one tool you have in your toolkit to prevent injury from happening, and that is diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing. So you can see I'm squeezing my midline as tight as I can, and I'm breathing into those hands like I'm wearing an imaginary weight belt and I'm just breathing into it. So this is going to help make intra-abdominal pressure happen so that you can keep your midline very rigid, very stable, and very safe while you're doing these hip hinges. Now, while you're breathing into your midline and holding that breath as you're doing the hip hinge, another thing you want to do is stabilize your shoulder blades. And you do that by bringing your shoulders up, back, and down towards your butt crack. So I go bring it up, back, and down. If I just pull everything back like I'm trying to squish my shoulder blades together, we're missing part of this equation here. So again, up, bring them back, and then squeeze them down towards your butt cheeks. Now look at it from the side, up, back, and down. And this is going to help me prevent that upper back fault. Now, if you are loading this movement pattern with dumbbells, kettlebells, barbell, you need to consider where that weight is going as you're doing this hip hinge. If those weights are coming far away from my body, perhaps because I'm doing a knee lockout, the likelihood of it getting into your lower back are very high, especially if you cannot stabilize at your hips and create good intra-abdominal pressure by your diaphragmatic breathing. So notice, I am keeping those dumbbells very close to the center of my body. Same thing, if I am using a barbell, I want to go about thumb's distance away from my body so that I have plenty of clearance for my legs to do what they need to do. But again, I just want to keep that barbell very close to my body as I'm doing my hip hinge. Okay, so let's go ahead and recap and put it all together. To keep it out of my lower back and make sure my hip hinges are actually making my entire body stronger, I need to belly breathe. I need to breathe all that air into my stomach, create that intra-abdominal pressure. I need to pull my shoulder blades up, back, and down. I need to make sure that weight stays very close to my body so that no matter what variation of this hip hinge I am doing, I am training my joints and my muscles to be stronger so they are more resilient to injury. Final note, if you want a stronger, better looking peach, then make hip hinges a priority in your training so that all your social media posts are on point. Guys, if you like the video, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button. And if you like what we're throwing down, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. We'll see you guys on the next video.